In between the lines, we are back after a Peach Bowl blowout. Joe, Indiana destroyed Oregon. I don't even 55-26. What's your thoughts on the Indiana Hoosiers?
Just below, Vaughn, just below a professional football team. Just below. The New York Jets and the Las Vegas Raiders, they cannot beat, Indiana cannot beat them because they are grown men. I understand that. But Indiana, professionalism, Indiana, their quarterback, Fernando Mendoza, the way they go about executing, no penalties, self discipline on the football field, that is a great team. A great team with the Heisman Trophy winner. All right, so we can't mess up the fact that Fernando Mendoza is a Heisman Trophy winner. He's spectacular. That team and the early Vegas spread is what, in your opinion, Vaughn?
What
Who's
before the
favored by what, in your opinion?
I don't know. I can't even. Indiana should be favorite, I would think.
Okay,
Uh,
according to Vegas, go ahead.
according, yeah, but I don't know. 7 points, 7 point favorite.
Man, you cheating.
No,
Did
I'm
you
just
cheat?
talking off the top of my head. You know, I don't
I know
be
you don't
looking.
cheat. Vaughn, you spot on.
Seven
Vegas
point
has
favorite.
has Indiana favored in their backyard, so to speak, of Miami by 7 points. Yes,
That's
yes,
crazy.
and I think it's going to be a blowout.
Oh wow, we gonna get into that, but we got a special guest calling in. Darren, what's up, brother? Let me ask you this, because I know we was talking about before with Mendoza, the Heisman winner for Indiana, uh Fernando Mendoza. Did you was you able to tune in and see the game yesterday? And is he better than what you expected, or has he showed basically from blowing out Alabama and blowing out Oregon? Is he better than expected?
Um, I would say this. He's definitely a really, really, really good quarterback. Just looking at talent, just from him. Um, Me, I don't base it on the blowouts from the games, because that's always for me. I always say it's a collective work of everything, offense and defense, that contributes to that. But what I see from him, which is that ball that comes out of his hand, the maneuverability that he puts. Um, I wouldn't say he's higher than what I expected. He's showing what's expected, from what I can see, and that's a good thing. He looks better than a lot of quarterbacks. I think a lot of these other quarterbacks, they team kind of fell short on the skill set for them, But as far as Mendoza goes, he's impressive. He got a good arm. Now I will add this little tidbit. I do know that Ole Miss, they lost the other day, but I think Trinidad arm, in my opinion, looks better. I like the way Trinidad. Uh, I I think for me, I like the way he throws better than Mendoza, but there hasn't been enough film, I would say, to show Trinidad's full extent. But we'll see the coming days, coming months, where these two go to. Because it's very clear both of them gonna make it to the league. So we'll see what comes out of them.
Joe, what you got? I think that's a great point, but like you said, I'm gonna speak for myself. I wasn't expect. I thought Mendoza was good. He was tough, but what he been doing in the playoffs is almost perfect. He got more touchdowns than he got incompletions in the playoffs.
Right.
He had 5 touchdowns yesterday. He had 3 touchdowns against Alabama, only 2 incompletions versus Alabama, and only 3 incompletions versus Oregon. So he got 8 touchdowns with only 5 incompletions in 2 games, about to be playing in the national championship. And not to mention his defense is great. He don't turn the ball over. His running game is good. It's he
How
doing.
did this happen?
Yeah, but one thing I noticed yesterday, and I also made a comment. Now he had some very impressive throws, and one of them was made the top 10 this morning. Was amazing throw it right over the head of the defender. But some of the throws he threw slightly off, but the players that's receiving the ball made the catch, and that right there adds to it, you know. And I like I said, I always say it's a collective thing when it comes to evaluating these victories. You know, as a team, you know, that's the way I see it, because some of those throws, any other player probably would have missed those throws, man. Like one of them was a touchdown pass. The dude was stumbling as he caught the ball, you know, but he made the catch. The ball wasn't thrown too perfect, but some of the other ones was like, you know, you can't deny it was over perfect. It was way over perfect. He threw an amazing throw. But some of those plays, I think the other players made him look even better than what we was already looking at him as, and that's a good point, I should say.
Yeah, he said even better. I like the wording, Darren, even better, because Mendoza is good, but if the guys can catch the ball, that's even better. However, I would say this: Mendoza put some balls in the hands of his receivers last night that where he threw it and he could almost catch it for him. That it was just, I mean, in this those balls are not floating. You remember, Darren? You remember, Vaughn? A Matt Ryan ball had a little bit of air under it, that it didn't have the velocity to where it was like a rope. No. Mendoza throws a rope. He throws a rope. He's more athletic, and I don't know the negatives. For me, and I didn't want him, and I told Vaughn, I don't think he's the number one overall pick. I don't want him on my team because he's a statue. But he impressed me last night with his legs a little bit. The play that he fumbled, I mean, he showed a little burst.
He's sneaky quick. Oh. He's sneaky quick, just like how we thought Shedeur was a tree back there and could barely move. He's 6'5" and hard to bring down.
So if I told you two guys this, and I firmly believe this is what I'm seeing Mendoza. If I told you guys that this is a carbon copy of Joe Flacco, would y'all still want him as the number one overall pick? Because that's who he reminds me
Joe
of.
Flacco had an arm coming out of college, and
exactly.
Yeah, Joe Flacco is the real deal.
That is who Fernando Mendoza remind me of. Throwing the ball, deadly accurate, strong arm, not over athletic, but can get the job done. That's who he reminds me of.
One thing I love about Mendoza is he keep his faith first. He's always talking about God first.
Absolutely.
But thinking about going back to the national championship, he's going to be playing at home. So he had to go way out. He went somewhere first, then went to Cal, then now transferred because his younger brother is the backup quarterback for Indiana. And think about, again, how good it had to feel as a dad to see both sons getting in the college football semifinals. That Mendoza last name is just ringing as they went on to win 56-22. And really, Oregon scored like the last minute of the game. It was ugly. It was ugly. I think everybody cut their TV off unless you was paid to watch it.
I want to add this little point too for what I just said earlier too. In comparison, Carson Beck, his game that he played, some of those catches that his catches missed. You know, if it was like, to me, I was seeing some of the same things, but in reverse was Mendoza's receivers was making the catches. Even the ones that were slightly overthrown or slightly off, they was making the catches. You know, and I wonder how people will be talking about Carson Beck if because they should score just as many points that Indiana scored, you know, in their game, but they didn't because they dropped so many doggone passes. It was ridiculous.
They dropped passes, they dropped picks. But Carson Beck, I feel like Carson Beck is he won the game for sure. That game, Miami, and I'm not a Carson Beck fan, but he won that game for Ole Miss with that last drive and keeping his composure. But Carson Beck is a game manager. They tell Carson Beck, don't lose us the game. Get the ball to Franklin. Get the ball to Tony. Get the ball to Daniel. Short, intermediate. Let them break tackles and get us what we gonna get. And if you see somebody wide open, then throw it. And at the end, we still believe in you to drive down. In third down, we not afraid to let you pass it. But Mendoza got the doors wide open. They don't need to sling it for 300 yards because they know they defense not giving up much. And we just need Mendoza not to turn the ball over. And the difference is, even between, because Darren, you mentioned Chambliss. The difference between Trinidad Chambliss in UGA game versus the Miami game is UGA, they was putting up touchdowns versus Miami, they was kicking field goals. And I said the biggest play of the game wasn't the pass interference at the end. It wasn't even when Carson Beck scored on at the end. I thought the biggest play of the game, and I always tell this to Skylar, so Joe, you can relate when I say this. It was second down and goal on the 2-yard line. He's rolling out. Chambliss is rolling out to the right. Instead of trying to get in there, you got to put your body on the line. He ran out of bounds. Third down, they threw it incomplete to Lacey, and you had to kick a field goal, so you was down 2. And then once you kick a field goal, now you up 1. Miami came down there and scored, missed the 2-point conversion. Ole Miss came down there and scored, got the 2-point conversion, and then Miami scored again. If they would have scored that touchdown, or he put his body on the line and possibly got in the end zone, that would have put more pressure on Carson Beck to score a touchdown instead of them just having to kick a field goal to tie the game up. And I think you get a different outcome.
Darren, your brother in Sevon is spot on. He knows himself better than anybody knows himself. His nephew and his brother, me, knows him as well. And he doesn't know this because we didn't talk after the game. We brought you up, Vaughn, on that particular play that you said. And I said, Skylar, Vaughn would say you should have cut back and make more of it. But Vaughn doesn't see the peripheral. So when we watched the replay, he agreed before, but when we watched the replay, he was like, yeah. But then all those goons coming in, he's like, nah. And it was second down. And that's my point, Vaughn. You're not wrong. You can take a chance, but I think you only take that chance to go back in those goons if it's fourth down. And you're right, but we didn't find, and we rewound it twice, Vaughn. We didn't find a way or find an avenue for him to put a foot in the ground like you want.
Oh, he was gonna get smashed regardless. It was, but yes, it's one of the things where it's like, hey, if he looked back at it, he would have tried it. I remember a game you played. I don't know if
to your point, though. To your point, Vaughn, you've always said that about Skylar. But again, Vaughn, why I disagree with you on this one, because it wasn't fourth down. And I know what happened the other downs. Yeah, but it wasn't fourth down. I understand what you're saying, but he has a couple more downs and not risk his body. What if he goes back in there with the goons and he's injured?
Well, that's their last game of the season anyway. You got to lay it all on the line.
But it wasn't the last play. That's all.
That's why I said I thought that was a bigger play because Miami was they only got a field goal. All right, we relieved now. But the difference was against UGA, they wasn't kicking field goals. They were scoring touchdowns every time. And that's the difference between Mendoza. He's scoring touchdowns. They not kicking no field goals. He's scoring touchdowns every time.
That's right. Now, let me ask you this, Vaughn. What's your opinion? Do you think Oregon came with their best heat against Indiana?
I'm so glad you said this because I told Joe prior to it, I said that Oregon had the easiest road to get where they was at. I didn't feel like Oregon beat nobody the whole year. Well, I didn't watch Oregon all year, but I didn't feel like Oregon beat anybody. Beating James Madison ain't saying much, and beating Texas Tech ain't impressing me. They didn't have to play Ohio State, so I wasn't really paying attention to Oregon. I know they only lost to Indiana, but I'm like, okay, this is going to be the chance. My only wish was that it be a good game. I knew from the first pass when he threw that pick six, oh, this ain't going to. I text Joe, and then Joe texts me back like, yeah, I think it's going to be a blowout. I'm like, man, by halftime, I didn't even check back.
Right.
It's like, man, it's over with. So, no, I don't know. You probably would watch more Oregon football than I did, Darren, to tell me if they brought their best game. Because, yeah, I think they just ran up against a way better team. We always say it's hard to beat a team twice, but we don't say nothing about beating the hell out of them. That's exactly what Indiana did.
I would say this now: if Oregon had their best, if you agree that they brought their best, I think now it looks at it will be a problem with this is a semifinal and this is supposed to be the best versus the number one, like their best versus number one's best, and it just didn't look like that at all. This looked like a regular season game against some low end team, but they're supposed to be what, number 5 and number 1. Like this,
Number
that
5.
didn't look like that. Yeah,
It comes down to matchups, but also, Darren, you got to remember, first game, Oregon lost to Indiana at home. So if you can't beat them at home, chances are you ain't gonna beat them on the road either. But I want to say this, Joe. And did you see where they said something about Oregon running backs hit the portal? So they had to put some defensive players at running back to try and because they running backs hit the portal. Like and one of their running backs got hurt, but the backup running backs hit the portal. What is that about?
Vaughn is dysfunctional, and it's all about what you've heard is the NCAA calendar. And say whatever you want to say about Lane Kiffin, he had to make a decision. LSU, you would say, and I would say, and Darren would say, is a better job than Ole Miss. And Lane Kiffin was caught in a position that he had to make a decision before the calendar ran out. And so did the running backs from Ole Miss. I got to put my team, from Oregon. I have to put my name in the portal. I have to put my name out there to be in the midst for another team that's going to get me. I don't want to do this. Don't you know that the backup to Trinidad Chambliss, he had his name in the portal? The guy that started for Ole Miss the first 2 games of the season had his name in the portal. And he said, my name is in the portal, but I'm not leaving the team. And that's a team player, but you would say, why would you do that at this time? He had to, because other teams where he's trying to get to, he's making sure that they don't fill up their quarterback position. They don't go somewhere else before they know that he's available. So the calendar in the NCAA is wrong. And I will reiterate what I just said. The backup quarterback for Ole Miss in the semifinal game had already put his name in the transfer portal. Yes. Why? Because he had to do it before the deadline.
As well as because they tried to submit for Trinidad Chambliss to come back a 6th year, which I heard just got denied, but they may appeal it.
And see, and Vaughn, that's another discussion. I'm so happy you brought that up. That if Simmons, the quarterback that transferred from Ole Miss, the starter in the regular season, had he known that it was going to be denied for Chambliss, would he come back?
I'm sure he would. I would think so. I mean,
so there's so much pressure on everybody involved. So I don't point the finger. I can say what I want to say about Lane Kiffin and leaving those guys, the players in the transfer portal. But some of these moves their hands are forced because of the calendar.
Darren, being an Atlanta native, what's your thoughts on the Hawks and Trae Young parting ways?
Oh boy, it's kind of all over the place, man. I kind of knew at some point he was gonna leave. But one thing to highlight, him leaving at this point is unfortunate. But the team been honestly doing better without him. And it's sad to say because I'm sure a lot of people from Atlanta that root for the Hawks feel the same way. They love Trae Young. He's a good player. We love him on the team. But I always said it kind of hurts to see somebody in Atlanta, and this goes across the sports, do so well and not get any championships. And I'm pretty sure at some point in his career he probably go at least making it to the finals. But team doing better without him, so I think it's good on both ends. Team getting a plus. He get to go somewhere else, and I think everybody's all smiles after that. To be honest.
Is the Hawks better? Well, yeah, the Hawks may be better. I mean, are they better without? I said this. The Hawks is the same that they was with him than they will be without him. If you look in the last 7 seasons, the Hawks probably not even 500 in regards to regular season, like they record wise. Of course, Trae Young was All-Star, 4 times All-Star. He was an exciting player. He's the closest thing, other than obviously you got Steph Curry, Allen Iverson. He's a trend-setting player, so you gonna root for him. But when it comes to winning championships, we not winning no championships with them. We ain't gonna win no championships without them. You trade them, but you
Don't say
trade them
without
to
him,
a
Vaughn. Have some hope, but you're right.
man,
Have some
please.
hope.
I don't believe. And when I say without them, because the Hawks couldn't draft nobody when they had them. So now
That's
we
right.
believe they gonna draft somebody now. Now they got.
Yeah, but
That
but
was
you're doing the
first,
same thing you do with the
and I can't remember the
Cleveland
numbers,
Browns.
but
Yeah, because the Hawks is the Cleveland Browns. They just a little better.
But history can rewrite itself. But again, I
we
agree
hear
with
you,
everything
Darren.
you said. I agree with everything you said, except for the future. You can't go to the future that they will never will do that. And I would say, right before Darren says anything, Trae Young is not a winning basketball player. His stats are empty. So his stats are, when you talk to non-basketball guys outside of me, you, and Darren, that 25, 26, and 10, it's all-star worthy. But can you make it happen? Do you get guys around you better? Does anybody from a different city wants to come and play with you because you're that polarizing? Trae Young wasn't that, or he's not that. He has a somewhat of a selfish basketball game to me. Although the numbers at 10 assists, that 10 assists comes when the shot clock is running down, alley hoop lob. It's too manufactured. So he's a good player. He puts butts in the seats. He's not a winning basketball player.
He for sure put behinds in the seats. But so
Yes, he does.
In regards to the trade and the value of the trade, because so many people in Atlanta would
Hawks
say
didn't get anything back.
so many people in Atlanta would say that Trae Young was a superstar. They would even people with so much they would say, "Oh, Trae Young and Luka was." That's an even trade. Oh no, we should have made the trade. We got Trae. And now I always say this: if you a superstar, you gonna know if you a superstar by who they trade you for. We ain't trade Trae. We trade him for a lint ball and a tic tac. No draft picks. CJ McCollum, come on, man.
I can't remember the exact.
No, go ahead,
numbers,
Dan.
That he said, can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear what you say.
Yeah. I can't remember the exact stats that they put up, but they were saying when I said that the Hawks was better without him, they said particularly this season, the games that they played without Trae Young, they had more victories without him than when they did with him, and it was a negative stat when they was playing with him. And it clearly showed, and I thought that was really interesting, being that we rooting for him. Like me particularly, I root for Trae Young, but I'm like, dang, I ain't know that was the stat. Like when he wasn't playing, the Hawks was winning, and when they was playing with him, the Hawks was losing. So, what you just said, trading for, we don't know whether he's a superstar or not. I don't think that takes away whether he's a superstar. I just think the Hawks just feel a certain type of way as a franchise. They feel like, hey, we better off without you. It don't matter who we get. We just want to get rid of you. That's probably that may or may not be how they feel. But like you said, it shows who they traded for. But at the end of the day, I think still, I don't think he's less of a superstar. I still think he's if not, he's very, very, very close to a superstar because, we know what Trae Young is.
We got to be careful when we use the word superstar. LeBron
Thank you,
James
Vaughn.
is a superstar. He's an all-star. Trae Young record, the Hawks, I'm pulling it up right now. So, Joe, you probably can see it now. Hawks all-time regular season record with Trae Young, 221 wins, 272 losses. That's a 44% winning percentage with playoff appearances at 2021, 2022, and 2023. I'm of this essence. You shouldn't be making the playoffs if you ain't winning more games than you losing. The Hawks a lot of times gonna make the play in, and then Trae Young gonna ball. He gonna put teams out, and they over delivered when he was in there. So again, I'm not saying that Trae don't ball, cause Trae ball a lot, and he ball at an alarming rate. I'm just saying the Hawks ain't no better with him without him than they is with him in regards to winning games. If the goal is to try and bring a championship to Atlanta, cause without him, like Darren just said, it's showing the Hawks is 17 wins and 13 losses since that's a 56% winning percentage when he hasn't played this season. but we can't keep throwing around this superstar word.
Please
Superstars
not.
is you're not gonna be average as a superstar. You winning, you don't necessarily gotta win a championship, but Luka is a superstar. You gotta have first team all NBAs. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is a superstar. The Joker is a superstar. LeBron, Steph Curry, superstar. Trae Young, all-star.
And you know what? I don't know if we can do it now, Vaughn, but that's something, a discussion in between the lines, because you can't go beyond that. We use it so loosely, and you're so right, brother, that this term superstar goes just in the air. We just throw it out there. There is not five. There's not, you named a lot. There's not 6 superstars in the NBA right now. There's not. Now, there are stars, but again, what's the category of a superstar? Are you box office? Are you can't miss? Sevon, Darren, and Joseph, myself, that when you on television, that we must tune in to see what you're going to do, no matter if it's a Thursday or a Wednesday or a Tuesday night. That's a superstar. I can't say that there's 5 superstars in the NBA. Everybody you said, yes, and I think LeBron is
Some
kind of
people might
dwindling
not
now.
even say Joker ain't a superstar.
Yes,
he got
because of the
superstar
turnstiles.
talent, but
Yes,
like it's people saying I gotta tune in to Joker.
Exactly.
No.
But you and I, we have to say that because of his production on the basketball court. We have to give it to him. But you're right. Some people might not say that. And you know what? Some people might not say Shai.
I was about to say that too.
Because of his low key.
Yeah.
And some people might say Giannis because of his low key.
Right.
But they are superstars, yes.
Okay, Darren, what you say?
I think the reason why, if anybody don't consider Joker superstar, one of the for me, I think one of the features of superstar is definitely are you marketable?
Yes.
Where else do you see Joker outside of on the court?
Ant-Man is a superstar.
Yeah.
No, he's not.
Oh, Joe, that's where we'll disagree, but we'll talk about it.
Because Vaughn, because you reiterated and you said some things that you're going to have to take it back, because you said championship, leading your team to wins and all that. He's got boxes he checks as a superstar, flamboyant, we must see, but does he have the total package that a superstar must have?
I said you don't have to have a championship to be considered a superstar, because Allen Iverson clearly was a superstar and he ain't got no ring. Charles Barkley was a superstar.
Yeah, I
but they win.
I think the package goes with not only court stats or how well you play in the game. I think how well the fans, your particular fans of that franchise, and if those fans base branch out beyond the following of that city, like I like Luka, but I'm from Atlanta. That particularly make him a superstar.
Luka is a superstar.
You know what I'm saying? I ain't from none of these cities that I like these players from, and I think that contributes to the full package. Where we see them,
Luka's a superstar only because he's international.
Yeah, but also based on his play.
I'm sorry, Darren. No, not based on his play, Vaughn, because you moving the goalposts. Because Luka, he does not play defense. Luka has not won. He has not won. Again,
who you comparing it to?
He's box office. No, hold on. He's box office because he's international and he's got all these different countries tuning in. That's why he's box office. Other than that, what does Luka do spectacular that you say must see?
He first team, 5-time first team All NBA.
No, I'm talking to you. What did he do in your eyesight when you watch him on a night-to-night basis?
He a walking bucket, and he got the vision that he can pass. Like, yeah,
I agree with that. But I mean, superstar. That's again to your point. Let's not cloudy or let's not muddy this superstar thing. And I agree, he's a superstar, but he's just making it into it because.
You can't say Charles Barkley been to the finals and Luka didn't take his team to the finals by hitting a step back three. You said I said Charles Barkley and I said Allen Iverson. And you said, but they been. Has Luka not been to the finals?
He has. Yes. He's a superstar. Yeah.
Now since the last few years, I don't watch more TV. like actual TV than I have like pretty much all my life. One thing I'm gonna say about what that comes with this total package of superstar is, like I said, being marketable and seeing you outside of the court. Now, Luka, I think he may be at the tippy top before learning that stat superstar because we don't see him nowhere. It goes the same thing with Joker. We don't see them anywhere. I don't see them on TV. You know what I'm saying? But Ant-Man,
Reach, Darren. I love it. Talk to me.
He got all kind of commercials, man. And you see what he is. You know what I'm saying? He got shoes. He markets shoes.
If you ain't got the shoe deal, how can you be a superstar if you don't have the shoes?
Now I know Luka. If I'm not mistaken, I think Luka.
Yeah, Luka doesn't have a shoe.
I think he got a shoe. It's just not marketed here.
Yeah,
well, then he the anomaly. He's still the superstar though.
I know, that's what I'm saying. So I mean, it's some things that, to Darren's point, that's touchy, very, very touchy. SGA doesn't have a shoe.
No, Shea got a shoe.
Not his signature shoe.
No, it's just not as big as Ja. It's not as big as Ja Morant or so, Shea got a shoe.
That's my point, though. I mean, will the nation know Ja Morant or know Shea Gilgeous-Alexander?
They gonna know Ja Morant.
Yeah.
So to Darren's
Ja
point,
was a superstar. He was on the right there.
You're right there, absolutely, yes.
I say this when it comes to having a shoe. That term goes beyond what it just literally means. Like, just to have a shoe don't mean anything. You got to have a shoe. That makes sense. Like I think Ant-Man shoes doing pretty good at that.
Ant-Man shoes killing it.
Yeah, you can't just have a shoe that's just a good athletic shoe.
Right.
He's a borderline.
Yeah, shot.
They want a fashionable shoe.
But you know what, Darren? It goes back to what Vaughn initially alluded to, and we have to move the goalposts because all these different things that we're putting into it. But Vaughn, bring yourself to what you initially said, that we're using the term superstar loosely. So we can't let everybody in. Because you made a valid point. So
but that's why I
so
said
we gotta be careful.
Trae Young, I don't put Trae Young and Ant-Man in the same boat. Trae Young was huge in Atlanta. But Ant-Man is big, like Darren just said, them shoes is huge.
Trae Young is huge. No. Vaughn, you forgot now. Trae Young became huge internationally when he waved New York bye-bye in the playoffs.
No, that was a big deal. But then when I look at Trae Young's stats.
That's when he became...
Not his stats, but Trae Young awards.
That's when he became a national brand, when everybody knew about him, when he did that in the Madison Square Garden, in the Mecca. That's when he put his name on the map. So it's about that.
Now consider this, guys, and I think this is probably the sweet spot. And no pun intended on what I'm going to say. There is a sweet spot that's in between All-Star, Superstar, and that's where a lot of these
players
are
at. Darren, you're huge. Yes.
Sweet spot. That's what I think it is. I think Trae Young. I'm gonna say for me, I think his nickname is pushing towards superstardom. Everybody know Trae Young got nickname. I mean, we got Ant-Man, we got Superstar, we got Trae Young,
Ice Trae. A lot of that had to do with him being in Atlanta as well, though, because you don't get Quavo and them making songs about you if you're not here, if you're not in the city.
But you got a ball, though.
Yeah, no, for sure, it fits.
Even Luka got Hookah Luka. even though it's a negative nickname, but I think when just getting the nickname alone, because that means people watching you. People it's going beyond the court, and like I said, those are the things that's pushing you towards stardom, whether it be positive or negative. I think Ant-Man, I really think what also contributes to him getting pushed up to that point is that the whole Atlanta thing. That's a big deal. So I don't know. It's to me, it's a sweet spot. It's a whole sweet spot to these players, man. That in between, you do have your all-stars and you got your superstars, but there are some that are pushing the brink. And they just like one step away. Some of them don't want to be in the limelight. Ant-Man don't want to be in the limelight. He don't want. I remember Stephen A was saying he should be the face of the NBA, and he was like, nah, ain't that what y'all got win before? He don't want to be in the limelight like that. So maybe he don't want to be a superstar. I don't know, but I think that plays into it.
it's expectations that come with it in regards to being a role model that come with it, and it's almost like when Charles Barkley say, "I am not a role model." That was what he was saying when he said, "Oh, I don't want to be the face of the NBA." He was just saying, "Don't look at me as your role model because I'm doing this and doing. I'm still young, having fun. So y'all want me to be the superstar, or y'all want me to be the face of the NBA." I don't think that he turning down being the face. He just don't want to show up and do all of the things that's necessary of being the face of the NBA. And you see how they treat LeBron. Not to say that LeBron ain't earned everything that he's got and some of the decisions that he's made. However, they act like LeBron ain't been carrying the league for a long time and taking the blame on things for a long time, because everybody can't take that type of pressure and take that type of doubt and take that type of criticism year in, year out. Most players gonna fold or crack or just bow out over time, and they start second guessing themselves. But even when LeBron win, you still got people like Skip Bayless talking bad about him for so long. So that's where I think Ant-Man meant, or what he felt when he's like, I ain't trying to be the face of the NBA. But
then he can't then.
Yeah.
Well, then he can't. And then he can't be a super. And then he can't be a superstar.
But it's some people that got it, and some people that don't. And he got it to the point where it don't even, like Charles Barkley said, "I'm not a role model." It didn't matter. Charles Barkley's still a superstar. Even
is Kevin Durant
now.
a superstar?
Absolutely. Kevin Durant is a superstar based on his skill, based on his shoe.
That's it, though.
Based on his skill, based on his shoe. Now he got his own personality to the point where you can't just talk. You can't just talk to Kevin Durant any type of way.
I know, but he doesn't have a personality that says he's a superstar. What I'm saying, Vaughn, is so many criteria. And you're right, Darren is right. It's so many criteria because Kevin Durant reminds me, he puts me in the mode of the Joker and Giannis.
No.
Hold on. Hear me. They are superstars just because of their talents.
But that's nobody say they want to be like Joker. Nobody say they want to be like Giannis.
Oh, nobody said they want to be a 6'10" ball that can go.
It's unrealistic. It's unrealistic.
No, I feel you with Joker, but not. It's unrealistic with Kevin Durant, a 6'10" shooter.
You seen these boys now? They 6'7" at 13, and all they want to do is shoot. They don't want to get in the paint and bang no more.
That's fool's gold.
But that's why I said Durant. I'm telling you, from growing up, just like they love Melo. People love Melo. Other than Melo, anybody that I know,
the Melo Ball?
No. The Carmelo Anthony.
I know who you were talking about.
Carmelo Anthony. Just like everybody that loved Carmelo Anthony loved Kevin Durant until maybe after he made that decision to leave to go to Golden State. Some of them still liked him after that. Me, I love Kevin Durant prior to the Golden State era, and then because I was an OKC fan. Then
but Vaughn, is just because of his skill set, though.
No, people love his shoes. People was wearing the Durants.
Darren is trying to say to you, and I'm trying to say to you, and correct me, I don't want to put words in your mouth. What I'm trying to say, Vaughn, is that no. All superstar personality, box office, and what you do off the court, like Steph Curry, that little swag and all that is more than just him shooting. It's more than just his skill. Michael Jordan was more than just his skill.
Durant used to do the whatcher every time he hit the three.
I don't know anything outside of Durant making him a superstar, which I do agree. He is a superstar. I don't know anything outside of Kevin Durant that makes him a superstar other than his skill set.
Well, all he would do is show up and play basketball. He didn't have to.
That's what I'm saying to you.
The difference is it's a lot of players that try and get into fashion. They trying to get into all these other things to try and make them a superstar rather than your game speak for itself. You a superstar because other people wish they could had a skill set of you. It's players 7 feet tall that won't get in the paint because of Kevin Durant, and they want to play like Kevin Durant. It's not players saying that they want to play like Giannis.
Why are the two guys in Boston not superstars?
Some people would say Jason Tatum was a superstar prior to the Achilles. So
see,
I just don't. I think it's a skill set. I don't think he's on Kevin Durant. I don't think he's on Kevin Durant's level. I don't think
No,
he's on
me
Kevin
either.
Durant level. I don't think he on LeBron James level. I don't think he on when we talking about the ones that's a superstar. I don't think they there yet. I think they got close. They definitely won a championship, but they just had a better team. They couldn't have carried no team to the finals by themselves.
Was Anthony Davis ever close to being a superstar?
Ever
See,
close? New Orleans. I
was
mean, he
Chris
had the
Paul
brow.
ever a
He had
superstar?
people
Was
wearing the.
Chris Paul ever a
Yeah,
superstar?
for sure,
Yeah.
for sure,
See.
for sure. Come on, Chris
No,
Paul.
I agree with you. We were just talking, Vaughn. I'm not disagreeing, but I mean, we can move the goalposts. That's what I'm saying. That I don't want. It's almost like the Hall of Fame, and when it's watered down, I don't want to put everybody. To your point, Vaughn, I'm backing you up. That we don't need to water down this superstar thing.
No,
We don't need to
the
water it
issue
down.
is
Let
people
everybody
think that
in.
James Harden was a superstar, or
Yes,
James
yes,
Harden superstar
yes,
because that
yes,
era had so many superstars that had their own personality, had their own thing
yes,
going on. They
yes,
think because
yes.
somebody now is good, they was good for your team. Oh yeah, they was a superstar. No, they wasn't.
No,
They was the franchise player, but
that's
Trae
right.
Young was not a superstar. That's where I go, and not to
No,
call
he
out
was
Trae
though,
Young.
Vaughn. Yes, he was. He
When?
was. When he waved New York bye bye,
No,
and
that
we
was a
made it
big
all.
time. That was a big time moment, but that don't make him the superstar.
No, but he didn't sustain it. You're right. He didn't sustain it, but he was. Yeah. Okay.
If I'm a
Okay. I
suit,
got you.
then Robert Horry was a superstar when he hit the big
No,
three.
not even close. Not even close. Not even close. No.
But that's what I'm saying. You
No.
telling
No.
me?
No.
You telling me one moment made somebody? No, if you was a superstar, you a superstar.
It was not one moment. That's a whole series, and he lived up to the billing with the All-Star in the next
Okay,
year. But
okay. So is Indiana who he got hurt?
no, he got a lot to do. Halliburton, he's got a lot more to do.
Did he not put the choke up and hit game winners in the same predicament?
Yeah. No, he's not a superstar.
But did he
And
not
I had
hit
to
more
debate.
game winners in the playoffs? He did the same thing Trae did. So if he ain't no superstar based on his run and what he just did, then when was Trae a superstar?
Hey, Darren.
Yes, sir.
I got the ultimate question for you and Vaughn about this, and I'm not disagreeing. We just talking, but I got the ultimate question, and I'll say a lot, and I'll jot down in my book a lot about this when y'all answer. Was or is Kawhi Leonard a superstar?
He is currently. Well, I'm gonna let Darren go. We got
Has he
4
ever
minutes.
been? Hold on, Darren. I'm not even talking about currently. Has Kawhi Leonard ever been a superstar, Darren?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. I think so. And I don't give a
And that was all on skill set.
The claw. But even his personality of
No,
being like, no,
no,
listen.
don't
When
do
I
that.
say
Don't do that,
personality,
Vaughn.
I'm not saying his personality is like Ant-Man. I'm saying his personality of him being him was a whole trending thing. Like they do memes and act like he a robot, so which made
Even
him
when he
a
laughed
super.
that time.
Yeah, even
Yeah.
his laugh. So
Yeah.
he got the New Balance shoe. Like, yeah, yes,
That-
the claw is a new.
oh.
The claw is a superstar.
Oh my God. Okay.
That's
Okay.
why I
Okay.
said when it transcends beyond the court to mainstream to society to pop culture, those are some of the main aspects that some of these players are missing. Like I said, Joker, he's right there, but you don't see him. Joker to me just a dead man walking, man. No, nothing bad. It's like he's just boring. He's just boring, man. He's a very, very, very good player, but he's boring when it comes to the social world, man. And I don't see him. I don't see him outside the court. I do not see him. He's a phenomenal player. But then you got, I just think that's a main element to superstardom, man. Is what are you doing outside of the court that everybody's embracing, everybody's looking for you, everybody's seeing you. Whether you know like Kawhi Leonard, I wouldn't follow Kawhi Leonard, but if it wasn't for that being with Atlanta, I would never even knew who Kawhi Leonard was.
We're gonna dismiss. We're gonna dismiss a lot of this, Darren, because I think I'm the oldest, and I would consider myself the leader of who all are talking on this now. I'm going to put out some homework, and this is the homework. This is the athletic homework, Darren. You there, Darren?
Yeah, he listening.
All right. Superstar. Top 3 requirements of being a superstar. I thought about being just top 2 because we can get carried away because we do get carried away when we say 4 and 5 attributes of a superstar. It can be watered down. Vaughn, you, me, Darren, are top 3 categories of what makes a superstar. That's non-negotiable. And then we can see how many people fits our bill, because we can go on and on. Because you're right, the overall numbers, box office, skill set. Does he impact the game? Does he have a shoe deal and all that? But the top 3, Darren, your top 3 non-negotiables of a superstar. Because I think Vaughn, you can't see the screen that Vaughn had it perfectly. All-star um, all-star versus superstar.
Superstar. Yep.
It's a fine line. It's a very
Yeah.
fine line. But I don't want no research from Google. I don't want anybody. Sevon Williams, me, and you, Darren. You guys' top 3 requirements that you say a superstar or not. And we can't do it right now because we can't even think about all the players and whether y'all guys want to go currently or whatever, how you want to do it. But I just want to have those specific requirements, what it takes to be a superstar.
Darren, Joe just said he wanted the top requirements. You don't have to necessarily be right now. We might have to do some research. But you say top 3 or top 2, Joe?
What do you want to do, Vaughn? I mean, I don't want it to get watered down. I don't. That's why I limited it to
It has
3.
to be 3 because 2 is only.
Okay.
I would say at least 3. Top 3.
At least 3.
Categories
I just don't want it to be watered down.
that would consider somebody a superstar. Because Darren, you can't necessarily see it, but on the topic that it says All-Star versus Superstar. So if somebody check off these 3 boxes, it's hands down they're a superstar. It's no.
There you go.
That's what we are trying to figure out. And I want all our listeners and anybody in the audience, if it's an all-star or a superstar that we haven't named or maybe we forgot about in the NBA, Joe, he said Anthony Davis. Some people would say Zion. But let us know who is a superstar that we possibly have forgot about, as well as what do you feel is the categories of a superstar. I mean,
and I throw a quick name out there, Vaughn.
Okay.
I throw a quick name out there. It's crazy because this is why this is such a great topic. Jalen Brunson, what is he?
He in a big market.
Yes.
Big body Brunson. He in a big market. That New York. And the market got a lot to play with it though.
So that's why I want your 3. That's why I'm saying again. I mean, how do you do that?
If Trae Young do what he did in New York, what he did in Atlanta, he would be considered a superstar because of the market.
That is beautiful, Sevon. That's a great state. Yes. Yeah. But according to you, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No.
That's why I want your 3.
Why can't I remember his buddy name for Indiana?
Or Halliburton.
If Halliburton did the same thing he did with a New York Knicks jersey on, he is a superstar. Because everything is bigger when your market is different. When you with the Knicks, when you with the Lakers, when you with Chicago, when you with Miami, the market is different. So you got to do that much more. Imagine Shea being with the Knicks.
Imagine Donovan Mitchell doing what he's doing. Donovan Mitchell. See, there's a lot of all-stars that we think, but there's a fine line between all-star and really, really good players. Then we transform into a superstar. Because Donovan Mitchell is all-world. But is he a superstar? That's why this is a very, very good topic, man.
I want to point something out. Just to put something in perspective. I'm going to make two points. One, I'm going to say stages. You got 5 minutes of fame, rising star, all-star, superstar, legendary. I'm going to say them the 5 stages that not just basketball, but basically any sport, any professional field.
Say those stages again, Darren. You said 5 minutes of fame. 5
minutes of fame, rising star, all-star, superstar, legendary. And I'm I was thinking about some of these earlier that I just didn't mention it, but I'm gonna give you, for example, when we keep saying these particular moments that these players have. I think when a player has these, Yvonne, you were saying these make them also like Halliburton doing the choke, or Joe, you were saying Trae Young waving goodbye. I think these rising stars are having these 5 minutes of fame. These those two steps in collaboration. But I think when these players sustain these types of things for longevity of time, I think those things was what pushed them into superstar status. Because we're constantly seeing these things over and over and over and over and over, and that's when we start seeing. When you start seeing these particular people's faces, like I ain't seen Halliburton since playoffs. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah, but he got hurt. He tore his Achilles, so he ain't played this year.
No. I get that. I get that he's hurt, but I'm saying,
yeah. Oh, but you saying like ain't seen no commercials? Yeah.
We ain't heard with how you doing none of that. So I wouldn't say that he will be superstar status just based off that one event. There may be a superstar moment, or like I said, a 5 minutes of fame. You know what I'm saying? He's a rising star. He ain't stepped into that moment, I think. So I think when these players do these things for longevity time, you got time that will put these people into a superstar status. And like I said, just constantly seeing them, and then at some point that's when like, okay, you made a comment. I think it was which one of y'all was talking about James Harden? I can't remember.
I said something about James Harden, the beard.
Yeah, so we were saying you used to be. So I was like, okay, how do you used to be a superstar? I don't think you used to be.
I don't think you ever go out of it.
So
but that's why Darren, I don't think Brother Sevon realized what he was talking about when he was naming superstars and all that. I know he knows basketball, and I know he knows what he said. But when we do this list and we reconvene whenever we decide that we're going to have our list, because it's going to take time, if you dissect it, it's not going to be 5 superstars in the NBA right now. It's going to be watered down. If we have our top 3 and we break it down and not watering it down, it's not going to be that many superstars. It's going to be 1,000 all-stars, but not many superstars, megastars, box office. Superstar goes to me, mega, box office. And when you get the superstar level, and to your point, Darren, you almost forced me to create something else, but I'm not going to do it just because we don't want to have this a chemistry homework, because from superstar it goes to legendary.
That's what he did. That's why I said I love what he just said.
It goes to Michael Jordan. It goes to Michael Jordan and Muhammad Ali standing in a class of their own. So I don't know if we're ready to take it to that level, but I'm telling you, Vaughn, that
from legendary go greatest ever.
Yeah,
legendary goes greatest ever.
Yes.
I was going to point out, like with James Harden, when it comes to going to legendary, when you pointed out like he's not a superstar now, you know what I'm saying? And I think that's only because we don't see much of him, but I think once you reach that status, you can't take that status.
You can't take. He's still a superstar. Yeah. Once you're a superstar, you always a superstar unless you transform and just go legendary. And
so we got to be careful. We got to be careful then, because again, Vaughn, you said it earlier. And I don't know if you want to renege.
No, my thing is, if you was a superstar,
you took it back on James Harden.
Well, that's why I said I take that back. James Harden's still a superstar.
Yeah.
Everybody that was a superstar 5 years ago is a superstar now. It's not.
I like that.
Now, I think over eventually, even regardless of what they're doing, some of them can step into legendary status, because like take Jordan, for example. We ain't got to hear about Jordan, what he's doing. We can hear silence from Jordan in 5 years, and he's still legendary.
Well, Jordan is down at GOAT status.
Yeah.
It's few in between. It's not me. He up there. He's with me and Joe had a discussion there. You ain't hear it, but we was talking about Tom Brady, and I'm glad that you mentioned this, because this was a heated discussion we had about a month ago, and he's like, we was talking about Patrick Mahomes, and I'm like, and I had a couple viewers that commented on it as well, and they felt the same way as I did. I'm like, listen, it's Tom Brady, then it's the rest of the crew. Joe felt like, well, no, Tom Brady ain't Tom Brady is the GOAT, but Patrick Mahomes is close. You still got players like you named Dan Marino. You ain't even named John Elway, but I'm like, Tom Brady got 7 rings. And I'm not even talking about just the rings.
Yes,
Joe.
you are.
No, Tom Brady is the only quarterback out of everybody that we named to have a team go 18-0. We can't act like Tom Brady didn't break the record in touchdowns with 50 touchdowns. We can't act like Tom Brady wasn't throwing, I don't know how many yards he threw for in Tampa Bay. I only focus on the rings, but we can talk. Tom Brady broke the record in Super Bowl, how many passing yards he had in the Super Bowl, and they lost. It's a lot of things I can mention in regards to why Tom Brady is the GOAT, but it's easy just to say the rings because it ain't even close. So that's why I say, why are we talking about, and then we was talking about head to head. I said, Patrick Mahomes would never be over Tom Brady because when they was in the Super Bowl against each other, he got beat down. And you say, okay, it's a team sport. Understood. So let's say Patrick Mahomes tie Tom Brady, which means he need to win 4 more Super Bowls. Then it's head to head for me.
I'm gonna say this, man, because when it comes to when we bring up the greatest of all time with any sport, when it's a team sport, I do not like including rings, man. That does not play a factor. Because if we go to basketball, man, you got I'm losing that. Just sitting my
Bill Russell got a lot of rings.
We cannot bring rings into a team sport because Tom Brady win the rings by himself. And don't get me wrong, it is a big, I ain't gonna say a big push, but it is a lot that he put in with any champion that the quarterback puts in to get the ring. I get that, but we can't. I don't like saying even with Jordan ain't winning ring by himself. I don't like when people don't mention everybody else. So it's a real thin and gray area when you add rings into
that's all I'm saying.
But you got to add in skill, man. You got some players that got skill, and I think that's when, modern day now, people be saying that Patrick Mahomes is the greatest.
And that's what, and it can be agreed upon right now. Yeah. Right now. But when we talking about the greatest of all time, you got to talk about what happened when at the biggest stages. At the biggest stages.
Right. Vaughn, again, you're absolutely correct, Vaughn. However, this is the same thing that's got to be breaking down in the stages. Because, skill set, are we talking about the greatest all-time skill set, the way you throw the ball, or are we talking about rings? So rings is always going to be, if you and I are talking about the greatest overall quarterback in history, our number one, me, you, and Darren, our number one box is going to be rings. But there are other boxes. And to your point, you made a great point just then. The 50 touchdowns, the stats, overtime, that comes with longevity and everything. So, yes, but there are other boxes. That's all I was trying to tell you. There are other boxes. Making guys better, arm strength. All those type of things are into what makes you marketability the all-time great. That's all.
Do somebody want to come play with you? If players don't want to come play with you, then it's going to be hard to win a ring anyway. My whole thing is this. Everybody, and I can't say everybody because these kids is different now.
Right.
But when I was growing up, when you played sports, you played to win. I don't care if we won by 1 game. 1 point. I don't care if we won by 30 points. The object of any sport that we playing is to win and to be a champion. That means you want to go to the championship, you want to win the championship. It's not to be in 6th place and get a trophy for participation. It's not to come close and not win. Now, that happens. That's a part of the sport, and that's why sports is so great, because in life, you're going to lose sometimes, and it's about the lessons learned. But we cannot compare champions and those that was champions time and time and time and time again with those that just was great skilled players. I don't think it's as much of a comparison because I put championships and winning that high up on the ranking. That's all.
I see what you're saying, but it's like when it comes to team sports, man, we got to be real careful with bringing these rings into it because these greatest quarterbacks ain't earned these rings by themselves. This ain't like track and field.
Well, nobody earned nothing by themselves, but at the same time, they was the leader. If you led your team to a championship, and that's why I could understand. I was never saying Brady was the greatest of all time when we won the first 3 rings.
Yeah,
But
but even with the leaders, they ain't leading by themselves. They getting word in their heads for somebody else.
no, I'm saying even when I say leaders, I'm talking about you in the huddle. You got boys that's willing to do whatever for you. They not calling the plays or whatever the case may be. But my point is, we cannot discredit because if Brady only won three Super Bowls, I'm not saying he the greatest of all time because he still had more to go to beat Montana. But then when you get to 7, that's a large gap. It's a large gap. We not saying he throw the best spiral ever.
That's only saying though, Vaughn. That's only saying your number one criteria is rings.
Yeah, because I think rings weigh more than a lot.
I don't because like I said, I'm not discrediting quarterbacks or anybody in team sports with the rings or not having the rings. I'm not discrediting. I'm saying when we talk about greatest, I just say we need to be real careful with just saying, okay, who got the most rings? Because it's just an unfair advantage when you say who got the most rings.
And I agree. I agree with that, but I don't just say who got the most rings. When I say Tom Brady, people only think of the rings and they discredit everything he did in the long. Again, name another quarterback that went 18-0. I don't even talk about that Super Bowl because it pissed me off. Dan Marino went 18-0 win.
No, I'm saying,
he wasn't there.
The Miami Dolphins, another quarterback, but again.
Yeah, but I'm saying.
Look, I'm not talking about you specifically. Yeah. I'm just talking about in general when people have these conversations, and that's why when I speak about the greatest, I'm like I don't really like to bring up the rings. I always use, for example, Shaq and
Kobe.
Charles Barkley.
Oh, Charles Barkley. Okay.
Charles Barkley. When they get to arguing about some stats, Shaq always shut Charles Barkley up because he always say, "How many rings you got, Chuck?" You know what I'm saying? It's not, and that's exactly what everybody do when they talk about the greatest and they want to bring in how many rings a particular person that we're talking about has. That's an unfair advantage to the people who may or may not be better than them, but they don't have the rings. There's plenty of people whose skill set is definitely probably better than Tom Brady. I'm not saying that because I can't point none out, but I'm saying if you compare two people, one may actually skill set may be better and be greater, considered to be greater of all time, but we'll throw around and say, well, they didn't got the rings to back it up. Well, I couldn't get the rings with the team I had.
But that it's not even just with the team that you had. That just show, again, and there's nothing wrong with it. That's like saying J.R. Smith, because I think Shaq and Charles Barkley is a bad comparison because Shaq was a better player than Charles Barkley. Charles Barkley was a dog and still great. But Shaq is one of the greatest players we got never seen. Like, I think folks get that construed like Shaq wasn't Shaq. Shaq couldn't nobody do nothing with Shaq. But if J.R. Smith said something, if J.R. Smith told Chuck, I got 2 rings, then I understand what you're saying, Darren. Like, yeah, it's not but we cannot compare when we talking about the greatest of all time and Shaq say, I got 4 of them. People just look at the rings and say, cut on that film. Cut on what he was doing in the finals with Kobe.
I thought about something. I would say this. I think to be in the topic, I think it may be fair, a good argument. I'm not going to use the argument, but I think if somebody would say the fact of having at least 1 ring would make sense of being the greatest. The number of rings I don't think really would matter in certain circumstances. Because I always say I was a big Tom Brady fan, and I always said he would have to leave the Patriots and go somewhere else with a different team and get a ring. He did that. For me, that's one of the reasons why I think he's one of the greatest. It's because of that feat that he did there. It was going somewhere completely different. First year got a ring. That was impressive to me. That was
new head coach. Like, again, everything that they said that he couldn't do, he did it.
Yeah.
I don't think there's no comparison with Tom Brady in the field.
Yeah, but I still think
why you say that though, Vaughn?
Darren just gave you another point that I didn't even mention. When he left, because before everybody was saying it was, oh, well, this is Belichick's system, the Patriot way, this and that. He go to a whole nother franchise and get him a Super Bowl.
Yeah, because I don't discredit anybody else, and I give credit. Yes, he's a great, but what's wrong with Joe Montana's resume?
Nothing wrong with Joe. Nothing wrong with Joe.
Three-time Super Bowl MVP, never threw an interception in the playoffs or in the Super Bowl at all. So the fact that he doesn't make 7, that Tom Brady is automatically the GOAT better than him.
Well, if he made 10,
and in an era, Vaughn, that's what I'm saying, Vaughn. That's why I like criterias, because Joe Montana was in a running era. Tom Brady was in a passing era, so his numbers are going to be skewed. Joe Montana, I don't even think he has 300 total touchdown passes, and Tom Brady has 500. So is that a equal, discussion about the guys, quarterback wise? That's all I'm saying. And you're absolutely right. I'm not saying you're wrong, but there's so many things that go into it. So a guy with 4 championships, Super Bowls, to a guy that's 7. That's the bottom line in Vaughn's mind. That's what makes him the great, and nobody can do anything about it.
How
because
many
remember
Super
what you
Bowl
said, though.
appearances
Hold
do
on,
he
Vaughn.
have?
Hold on, Vaughn. Who? Joe Montana?
Yeah.
4.
How many does Tom Brady have? 10. It ain't even a comparison.
So, but if that's your number one criteria as being the overall great, so that's your number one. Okay, but there's others. There are other criteria, Vaughn. That's all. Because again, because somebody's got the all-time record doesn't mean anything. Do you think that LeBron is a better player than Michael Jordan?
That's a debate, and
I'm sorry to say that. Okay, let me say. Do you think LeBron is a better player than Karl Malone?
Yeah, for sure.
No, I'm sorry. Do you think Michael Jordan is a better player than Karl Malone?
Yeah.
Karl Malone has the most points in the NBA.
Karl Malone seen Jordan in the finals 2 years.
Yeah, but if somebody's going to the all-time points scored, they would say Karl Malone is better.
But that's what I'm saying. So it's got to be. We got eyes. I'm big on competition.
We got eyes, yeah.
I'm big on competition. So when we talking about stats and this and that, I say, well, when you line up against me,
I like that. We got eyes.
You know what? Yeah. Because we had a discussion. Me and one of my boys had a discussion today.
Hold on, Vaughn. Hold that thought real quick. Because I got to say this. So Eli Manning should be saying, I'm a better quarterback than Tom Brady. When they lined up in the Super Bowl, he beat him twice. Does Eli Manning have something to say about it?
Compare 2 Super Bowl rings to 7. Eli.
But I played you. I played you, though.
I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that. Because Eli did do that and upset the undefeated.
Twice.
Yeah, no. But I'm saying the real upset was that undefeated season when Randy Moss broke the receiving record. Tom Brady threw the passing. That's why Eli should be in the Hall of Fame. I wouldn't say Eli would be in the Hall of Fame if it wasn't for him beating Tom Brady 2 times. That alone, in the biggest stages, should have him in the Hall of Fame. Other than that, go ahead, Dan.
So you wouldn't say Eli's a better quarterback than Tom Brady?
Come on, man. I already told you Tom Brady and then the rest.
I got you.
You just
go ahead, Darren. Yeah.
Go ahead, Darren.
When you said you can't compare the 2 rings to Tom Brady's 7, I'm gonna say I disagree with that, particularly with these 2 particular quarterbacks we're talking about. The matchups that they had, Eli beat Tom
in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So those should be the only 2 Super Bowl conversations we should be talking about in comparison to the 2. Don't bring up you versus somebody else. You wasn't playing me. If it was me versus you, don't tell me how many times you beat Joe. How many times did I beat you?
Okay, I'm so glad you said that. Cause check this out. Check this out. Cause Eli can say he won them 2 games, but why is Brady record against Eli 11-6 overall? Come on, man. Like that's what I'm saying.
What are you talking about? Eli is better.
No, Eli got the 2 Super Bowl wins, but record overall, Brady gonna beat him 11 times to him beating Brady 6 times.
Head to head?
Yes, head to head.
In regular season and in postseason.
Correct.
Yeah, but Vaughn, you hanging your hat. You are hanging your hat on the Super Bowls and the rings. So if this guy in head to head, and your point is that Patrick Mahomes can never, if they're tied, or Patrick Mahomes can never pass Brady because Brady beat him head to head. And here you got a guy that Eli Manning that never lost in a big game to Tom Brady. Explain that.
Then I would ask, how many times did he go to a big game?
Okay, I'm saying that's why I'm saying there's a lot of things that go into it, Vaughn. That's all I'm saying. Because Eli Manning can say I own Brady in the big game.
He could joke.
Big games.
He could say that.
No,
could,
not jokingly.
But it's nothing wrong with him.
Can say yes.
The thing I love about Brady and why I stand so strong with Brady is he don't have a perfect record. Jordan is unblemishable because you can say 6-0 in the finals. We gonna seen Brady greatest team lose, and we gonna see him come back from 28-3 in the Super Bowl. What are we talking about? Like Tom Brady got more records in losing than most people got in regular. So we're
talking about that they can't be a moving goalpost.
It's not moving a goalpost. It's whichever way you look at it.
Not you, but
it's whichever way you may want to look at it.
That's 1 minute, but that's crucial.
It's whichever way you may want to look at it in defeat. I feel like Brady still is supreme over everybody else.
What gets me, Darren, about your brother-in-law is that when he's talking about Tom Brady, he says no question, is not even close. And I agree with Tom Brady's the GOAT, but when he says unquestionable, there's nothing anybody can do about it, that hurts me. We got about 40 seconds now.
What you say, Darren? You gonna call back in?
You want to call back in?
Yeah, call back in.
Today?
Yeah, he calling right back. No worries. Y'all got me started. I tried not to talk about Tom Brady, and I tried not to. We was talking about it go from all stars to superstars, and we gonna close it out. I love the topic, and I love the categories: the 5 minutes of fame, the rising star, the all star, the superstar, legendary is really like 6, and then you got GOAT status. I always say I feel like Steph Curry, LeBron, Jordan, they on a whole nother level where you can't even. You shouldn't even compare them. Then, okay, I'll even say this because I asked this to my boys. I say, who is the your top 5 point guards of all time? If you ain't mentioning Isaiah Thomas in your top 5 point guard, and I don't count Steph Curry as a point guard because I think Steph Curry is unearthly. He's something else. He up there with LeBron. He up there with LeBron and them. So I'm not counting Steph Curry.
But you're gonna take the whole whatever you call it, the measurements. You're gonna take that because what are you gonna say? Shooting guard?
Yeah, because I would consider him as I would consider.
So then again, he should be the third all-time shooting guard.
Yeah, I'm definitely putting him before Dwayne Wade, and that's no shot at Dwayne Wade.
But you putting him behind Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant. But that's not fair because I mean he's better than both of those guys in his position as a point guard.
Better than who?
He's better than where you putting third behind Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant as number 2 guard, but you want to put him as a 2 guard. He doesn't fit third on any list.
If he on the list with Michael Jordan, LeBron,
as
or Michael Jordan,
yeah. But he's second on the point guard list, or maybe first where he belongs.
But
Magic Johnson or him.
No shot. If you up there with the GOAT status, then it's not it's just it's you and the field. So that's why I say you can even say Magic Johnson you can put in that GOAT status as well for his time frame. He did. So I don't put Steph Curry in there because you got point guards. I think he's for a better argument not to mention. We know Steph Curry. Steph Curry is one of the top 5 greatest of all time, like list. It's no need to put him in the point guards. I just feel like
we do that with Magic. We do that with Bird.
We do that with Magic, but you don't have to do that with Magic because you know.
But so Magic. To my point though, Vaughn, Magic cannot fit in your top 5 or maybe even top 10. Maybe top 10 if we don't put point guard on it.
No, that's not true.
If we don't put point guard on Magic Johnson's name, you would consider him a top 5 player?
Yeah.
But
possibly. If he's not 5, he's 6.
Will he make your top 5 all NBA team if he's not at point guard? What is he going to make it at?
Magic Johnson plays center in the final. He can play whatever position he wants.
But we have Wilt or Shaq or Akeem at a center. We don't need Magic. We have a power forward.
So if I'm picking 5 players, you picking? Yes. I'm picking Jordan. I'm obviously picking LeBron.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the top 5 best players of all time. I'm picking
No,
Jordan.
no, no.
Listen,
Positional
no.
now.
You
So,
you changing the rule. I'm saying the top
hey,
5 players of all
hold on,
time.
Vaughn. Okay, before you do that, and I love this. Show me a world where you're gonna put Steph Curry and Magic Johnson in your top 5.
When you need Magic,
No,
When you need
in the
Magic
list you were
Johnson,
in
when
the
you
list
need
you were
Magic
getting ready.
Johnson to
No,
play you need somebody to be the point.
Vaughn, hold on,
Steph
Vaughn. In the
Curry
list
ain't the
you
point guard on his
no,
own team.
hold on, Vaughn. In the list you were about to name to me of the top 5, whatever you were about to name, in that top 5 greatest or whatever you about to name position list, whatever you were about to name, you show me a world that you will be able to put Steph Curry in that 5 and Magic Johnson both in that 5.
If you
There's not a
if
world.
you want a shooter, then you put in Steph Curry in there. However, if you want somebody to move the ball around, you're not asking for Jordan. That's why you get Magic Johnson.
Show me what's your top 5 greatest then? Go.
Jordan, Kobe, LeBron. You talking about my top 5? I could easily
Steph doesn't even meet.
say Steph and Magic Johnson. And Magic Johnson can play 1 through 5. LeBron can
So
play
who you
1
putting
through
in
4.
there?
I just told you 5.
And you don't have a center at all?
Magic played center in the finals.
He played center, man, but okay, man. All right.
So you give me that 5 and you pick a different 5.
I didn't hear 5.
I said Steph Curry, LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, and Magic Johnson. And you give me a different 5 that'll beat my 5.
Guards. You got all guards. Huh?
You give me a 5 that'll beat that 5.
No. Beat that 5 as far as
That means you can't choose that 5. You pick another 5. Yeah. You give me another 5.
On the court or in general?
No, on the court. You give me another top 5 that's on the court that can beat that 5 that I just named. Because Steph Curry is not the point guard on his own team. Draymond is the point.
So I started center, and I'll give you a 5 that'll beat that 5. I'll give you Shaq at 5. I give you Olajuwon at 4. I give you Larry Bird at 3. Larry Bird at 3. I give you Dwayne Wade at 2, and I give you Isaiah Thomas at 1.
I like the Isaiah Thomas pick, but I still think they won't be. I don't think they'll be able to do it.
Because you can't guard me.
And that neither could they guard you. For one, we got 2 of the all-time players that just not gonna lose, and that's Kobe and Jordan on the same team. They not gonna lose. You gonna have to almost kill them on the floor for them to lose. Shaq obviously is gonna dominate. Then you got Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson gonna put the players. Steph Curry can shoot from the other side of the court.
What is Magic Johnson gonna play?
He gonna be playing center, running up and down. They better score every play. Every play.
You'll laugh at this one. You'll laugh at this question. I'm gonna have you because I ain't disagreeing with you because it's crazy. But are we playing make it take it?
No. We playing regular up and down.
But because up and down, there every possession, even though you say I'm not gonna stop you, you're not gonna stop me.
But threes count more than 2s. And
I got Larry
Isaiah
Bird.
Thomas ain't shooting much, and Dwayne Wade ain't shooting nothing from behind the 3-point line.
Yeah, but we guard him.
Darren, what would you say is your top 5?
Darren back on?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a hard one for me, because I missed out a lot of years, but.
And we're not talking about top 5. Oh, you talking about a lot of years prior to? Yeah, just based off of Yeah.
I mean, some of y'all already chose. I definitely got to have Jordan in there. I'm gonna say this for the sake of equality. I will flip between Jordan, LeBron, and Kobe. In my opinion, it doesn't matter which one of them 3 is on. If you got one of them 3 on your squad, you good. You wouldn't necessarily need the other 2. If you got at least one of them 3. So with that, we're not gonna mention one of those 2. So those 3 particularly will be one. That makes sense. That makes sense, y'all. What I'm saying?
Yeah, you can switch out any of those, and that's my thought process of why I would win. Because if I got all 3 of them, I'm not losing.
So then, this is where I say the reason why I say that because I think the system is
Yeah, because we have an argument that's not true. Go ahead, Darren.
Yeah, you can pick other players that going against those particular 3, like Joe said, like adding Shaq in there. Period. Like, what y'all gonna do against Shaq?
Foul him.
Man, Shaq going. But then
You gonna foul him.
You got him, and then you got a lot of new players. You got a lot of young players. I think will be pretty good going against them. Which I know a lot of people disagree, but I would definitely have Curry on there because you got to have a shooter. Best shooter of all time is Curry. No doubts about that one. I think it's him. So I would have him. I have AI on there.
I would have thought of AI. Yeah.
Who?
Allen Iverson.
Can't play. They can't play body. They can't play. Darren, it is all good and I like it, but Allen Iverson and Steph can't play side by side. How you gonna D up?
Well, that's why he just saying his top 5. It's just his top. He not comparing it to like what we was doing. My team versus your team.
But his top 5. He said Steph, and he's got to have Allen Iverson on there, right, on his team.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean.
And then he said he only picking one between Jordan, LeBron, or Kobe. Whoever y'all want to throw in there, cool.
But he has 2 point guards. He doesn't have.
But again, I don't count Allen Iverson as a point guard neither.
Yeah, but you're not trying to match up, Vaughn. You're just calling out superstars. You're just calling out greats of all times. You're not calling out any positional players. You're just calling out things.
Yeah, I said the top 5 greatest of all time. That's what I said. I didn't say it had to be. Oh, I'm gonna pick this at power forward. I'm gonna pick this at center.
But you also told me what you didn't tell Darren. You told me I couldn't pick any of yours.
Yeah, that's because I had already picked my 5 first.
That's what I'm saying. If I could pick some of yours, I'm gonna pick Jordan. I'm gonna pick some of those guys from yours. So I had to go from the litter, the pick of the litter, because if Darren said he's gonna foul Shaq, I'll replace Shaq with the Joker.
Well, you can't replace Shaq with Joker because you should have picked Joker first. You only had.
Okay, I got you. Go ahead, Darren. I got you. Go ahead.
That's a good one. Man. But that's why I just said though, you get some of these new cats.
That's what Darren just said. Yeah.
I think that's why I said I wouldn't necessarily put all 3 of them on the same squad, Jordan, LeBron, and Kobe. I wouldn't put them on the same squad because it's far. I would just pick one out of the 3. Because you can pick some players that go against your squad that you said, Ron. You can pick players that will go against them and they will not win. They won't win. And with them arguably being definitely the top 3 players of all time is Kobe, Jordan, and LeBron. I think if you put them 3 on the same squad, anybody, if your selection is the rest of the NBA history, yes, you can pick a squad together that's go dominate them. It's gonna dominate them because it's like Joe. It's just basically add more point to what Joe just saying. You know, you need a way around. You need certain positions to go in. If you got them 3 on the same team, it's like their performance is not gonna be what we know them to be. And I'm gonna say this. We see that a lot. We see that when it goes to like Allstar games or the Olympics and stuff like that. We see like the performance as a team. They do good, but I feel like it ain't what we used to seeing when they playing separately on their own team. If that makes sense.
Because they have to form into different roles. But my whole thing is mindset. The mindset of Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, I'm just saying them 2 mainly, is even with Joe's squad being much bigger, much stronger, talented on a different level, they gonna figure out a way to win. It's the same thing with Tom Brady if we talking about football. It's the mindset.
I have nothing but winners on my squad too, Vaughn. They're champions, so they're gonna find a way as well. So you
but they got the Mamba mentality. They can be. I'm not saying they're not champions. No.
My whole roster does as well.
Who's your roster again? You had Hakeem Olajuwon.
There's only 2 people. There's only 2 people in the world you think has the Mamba mentality, and I agree. Kobe and Jordan,
and Tom Brady.
And Tom Brady. So everybody else, they still can find a way to win. So just because Kobe and Jordan on the same team doesn't mean that Olajuwon or Larry Bird or Isaiah Thomas doesn't have the killer instinct.
But I got Magic Johnson to figure out a way to bring the team together. We gonna figure it out.
And I got Larry Legend to be the old white boy from Indiana to have both races.
Yeah, but then you got Steph Curry that can shoot again. You can't leave him open when Shaq get tired.
To your point though, to Darren's point, to your point though, we're not playing against each other. And again, I would almost, and I know this could be another whole 30 minutes. which one of those players that we all named that you are willing to start your team with? Which one of those players with the mentality and whatever you were saying that if I had the number one overall pick that you, me, and Darren was going through a draft right now, and we had to live or die on our coaching career, out of all those pools, megastars that's available, who would you start? Who would you start your team with? So again, and I know we can. You can have a pick. I can have a pick, and Darren can have a pick. And then somebody with the fourth pick can still end up with a great because that is that many people. But those are the things we're dealing with greats.
Right.
We're dealing with greats. But to our original point, there's all-star greats and then there's mega stars.
Right.
Jordan, Kobe. I don't think Larry was a mega star. He was a superstar, but mega, that's another different thing. Mega, Olajuwon, star, maybe superstar, but was he mega? I don't know.
Olajuwon wasn't a megastar, but Larry Bird was clearly a megastar. We
Yeah,
we
clearly.
ain't even mentioned this. We ain't even mentioned this, and this, Lord, we getting started. We don't get me on my horse, but it's a difference when it comes to white American star, because they've been waiting since Michael Phelps. Now they think who buddy for Dallas that just got drafted and he young.
Cooper Flag.
Cooper Flag's supposed to be the new great white hope, but it's few in between, especially on the basketball court. So the fact that you naming Larry the Legend, Larry Bird, shows how much of a mega star he was and superstar that he was, because that was in the 80s, early 90s, because Jordan took over.
But remember why I'm saying that to him. Television, transforming, must see, all that marketability, everything that goes into it, he was one of the original superstars in the NBA.
Larry Bird and Magic Johnson, without them
Yes.
two on both sides, the NBA wouldn't be where it is today for Isaiah to win and then Jordan to take it to a whole nother level. And then that's when Kobe and Braun took it to a whole nother level, which came Harden, Steph Curry, and the rest of them. Not to mention Allen Iverson, that was right in there with Kobe and them as well. So, no, absolutely.
Right.
But we definitely don't want to discredit Larry Bird for his contributions, because it's very rare in the NBA that we seeing a white superstar or a white just straight legend. You can't name five
There's
of
only
them.
one.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I wouldn't say it's only one, but we got to go back before Larry Bird because the logo is a white superstar, Jerry West, and that's it. I can only name two, Jerry West and Larry Bird.
They wouldn't consider Steve Nash a superstar, but he got 2 MVPs.
Would you? That's what I'm saying, and that's what I love about it, Darren. And me and Vaughn, and when you get home, we can't wait because it could be tomorrow when you coming home. It could be in 2 weeks. I can't wait to involve in that because, again, is what we are the people giving opinions. We don't have to listen to anybody else and say somebody said this and Joe. I mean, we be listening to people, but they don't. It's not like their opinion is above ours.
Right.
But I ask you, Vaughn. Is Steve Nash a superstar?
Jason Kidd? But is Jason Kidd black or is he white?
He's black.
Jason Kidd from Oakland. Jason Kidd was a superstar.
Yeah.
Jason Kidd.
What about Steve Nash? Was Steve Nash?
I'm still thinking.
See?
Steve
And
Nash
that's a
from
two-time
Canada,
MVP.
It's Steve Nash from Canada. That's like Shea. They from Canada, so it's kind of different. It's kind of different.
But I'm telling you, man, the color.
So it wouldn't be American. We wouldn't consider them like Larry Bird, who's from Indiana.
It's only Larry Bird then. It's only Larry
It's
Bird.
only
brother.
Bird, yeah.
It's only Bird.
And
Tom
Bird
Chambers.
lived up to it.
And he lived up to
And
it.
he lived up in college and in the pros. So yeah, Larry Bird stands alone.
Who's your boy who died recently? The broadcaster, 6'10".
Bill Walton.
Bill Walton.
Bill Walton. Now you see you going to it.
We're reaching. No, we're reaching. It's not.
But see, it's hard to say superstar back then because everything wasn't televised on the level that it is now. So was they a great legend? Yeah, but they legendary. Superstar? I don't know because I don't know how the media was putting them out at that time frame. So did Bill Walton? Because I believe he went to UCLA.
Yeah.
He won rings there at UCLA. He came in the league, and I believe he won as well.
At Portland and Boston.
Yeah, so
Got 2 rings.
that's why we got to get back to next time. We gonna revisit this, Darren, with the categories, because again, if we have the 3, we need 3 categories. What determines and makes somebody a superstar, and then we can revisit whether we talking about NBA or NFL. If they check those 3 boxes,
yes, sir. Yes, sir. I love
simple.
it.
It's that simple.
Yeah.
This has been a extended version. We appreciate Darren tapping in to In Between the Lines. Y'all make sure y'all like, follow, and certainly subscribe to In Between the Lines, where nothing is out of bounds and adversity is an opportunity to overcome. We out of here, and we'll be catching back up this evening for the NFL, giving our reactions to the wild card weekend. Peace out.